muttered, almost sweeping the cat off the desktop. He returned to his letter, but had lost his train of thought, and grunted in frustration. "Hello, Puss," a sailor from the working party aft said. "Chalky, get out of that, too," Lewrie snapped, getting to his feet to go retrieve the cat from interfering with the work on his starboard quarter gallery. He scooped up the cat, who had been poking and pawing at the fresh glass panes before they set, pawing round the empty gaps. There was a newly hung door to the quarter gallery, and Lewrie shut it. "God, but you're a trial," Lewrie said, as he carried the cat in his arms to the starboard side settee and dumped him on the padded seat. "I'll be on deck, Petters. Keep him out of trouble if that's possible." "I'll try, sir," his cabin steward replied, grinning. Hatless and coatless, Lewrie went forward to the door to the quarter-deck and stepped out into the full miasma of repair. Paint and hot tar and pitch, with only the faintest sweet tang of fresh sawn lumber and the louder din of caulking tools, hammers, and the thuds of hot loggerheads as they paid seams. And there, right at the forward edge of the quarter-deck, stood the reason that HMS Sapphire would remain anchored at Gibraltar for some time into the future, and the one item that Captain Lobb could not supply him: the weakened lower mainmast trunk. French shot had gnawed and chipped it like so many industrious beavers when Sapphire had lain herself at the head of the squadron's line of battle to take on the most formidable of the 4 enemy frigates they had fought a month before. It was a bloody wonder that it hadn't toppled like a storm-lashed tree right then, which would have spelled disaster. Now, though, the lower mast had been reinforced with spare anchor stocks to vertically span the damage, then woolded with taut-wrapped kedge anchor cable like a splint on a man's broken limb. The topmasts above the fighting top still stood, minus royal or topgallant yards, but Lewrie could not trust it with any sort of canvas spread above the topsail. Whole lower masts, fore, main, or mizzen, were not items which lay round loose by the dozens. No, they had to be crafted, scaled to the ship in which they would be installed. Lewrie had discovered that in January of this year, when Sapphire had been struck by lightning on passage from Corunna to Portsmouth, and it had taken the Commissioner of Portsmouth Dockyards weeks to come up with a replacement. Just in time, too, for Admiralty could have ordered Sapphire decommissioned and turned her over to the Transport Board to serve out her days as a troop or supply ship. Even after finding a replacement lower mast, Lewrie had had to go up to London to plead, cajole, and make some inventive and suspiciously optimistic promises to keep his skilled crew together and his active commission as her captain. Now, here it was again, the same dread of losing her, and how could he explain it away this time? "You're a cack-handed, clumsy bastard, ain't you, Lewrie?" he imagined Admiralty scolding. "What, you've broken another? If you can't play nice with your toys, we'll have to take them away till you learn better." The thought made him smile, if only for an instant. He went up the larboard ladderway to the poop-deck, his usual perch when at sea, but a working party was just gathering their loggerheads and tar-pots after sealing the seams in his cabins overhead, so a stroll aft to the taffrail lanthorns and flag-lockers was out. His shoes would be ruined before the tar cooled. Even his labbily collapsible wood and canvas deck chair, in which he could sprawl high above the bustle of a ship under way, was right out. It was now hung over the iron stanchions which held tight-rolled sailors' hammocks and bedding, like a jackknife. With a shrug and a sigh, Lewrie settled for a leisurely stroll forward along the larboard sail-tending gangway, apart from the busy starboard side, acknowledging the sailors or marines that he met with a nod or a cheery "good morning," which he most certainly did not feel, dredging up names. After 2 years he recognized them as well as he would have all his cousins at a family reunion. He stopped at the larboard anchor catheads and the roundhouse above the forecastle, gave that offending mainmast one more damning glare, then looked outboard at the shore, the high battlements of Gibraltar's fortifications, and the tiers of the town which arose on the steep slopes of the rock beyond them. Except on official matters, Lewrie had not taken even a brief run ashore yet, and now that Sapphire was finally put to rights, a few hours off the ship would be welcome. There were chop-houses where he could partake in a fresh meal, particularly a seafood house by name of Pescadores, run by a retired army sergeant-major and his Spanish